It's time to cross the Atlantic once again. We return stateside, this time though to the Brickyard. The circuit built in 1909, synonymous with one of the largest races in the world and part of the idolised Triple Crown, the Indy 500. Whilst associated with ovals, the infield circuit has its fair share of glory, hosting some of the largest competitions in the world. And today, it's hosting the penultimate round of the season here. And whilst Smeedle has looked strong all season, the ever-closing threat of D'Amelio and Sveers in behind looms larger with just 4 races left. It's time for round 5 of the rFactor 2 GT Challenge Series powered by VCO Esports Live here on The Race, and it's myself, Lewis McGlade, and as always alongside me, Mr. Aidan Millward.
Yep, Indianapolis, one of the most famous tracks in the world. Not using the oval, that would be overkill tonight, but using the 2014 layout that the IndyCars use every year. Very fast. It's quite a short lap. It's probably about a minute and a half in length, and should have some great overtaking opportunities, particularly into that turn 1 that's got a very heavy braking zone at the end of a very, very, very long straight.
Indeed, and I think we are going to see some race. Saw the percentage of rain at 35%. There is a slight sprinkle idea that we might have in the second race. We look now at the relegation. Already done the relegation for this season, already ticked off. We've gone through round 4, but of course our focus now after that heads up to the front end of the field. Who's going to be our top 5? Who's going to be our top 10 in the championship? Who's vying for a place in GT Pro next season? And who is going to end the second season as the rFactor 2 GT Challenge Series champion and join Michi Hoyer with that title? We're about ready to go for qualifying here in the penultimate round of the season. Pole positions normally been dominated by a Varga Sim Racing driver at least. Of course, started the season with Yuri Toman. And we've also had Mikael Smeedle as well, taking a few pole positions, having won all of the sprint races to open the night. Of course, we've got 5 new drivers on the grid. Veltons, Nadev, Chris Shepherd returns to the series. Giancarlo Velarde and Moritz Mel join Split 1. We lose Herman Stocky after not partaking in the previous round due to injury. We hope he gets better. Yuri Toman, our first pole sitter of the season, also one of the ones dropped out, and a few others as well. Qualifying underway at the moment. Opening lap times of the session, Ibrahim Khan topping the session from Matthew Williams and Matt Richards. Mikael Smeedle only 5th at the moment, but we're expecting the track to get a little bit quicker. There's been sprinkles of rain in practice earlier on, about 20-25 minutes ago. That rain has dried up. There's no rain at the moment. It is drying up. The circuit is getting faster, so we would suspect that those times are dropping. As we say so, 22.2 already from Mikael Smeedle.
Yeah, Smeedle there just hammering in those laps when you least expect them, as we see Ibrahim Khan coming through the snake bit, the bit that sort of bypasses the... It's actually turn 1, but it's the final corner if you're running the road course where the tyres blew up about 15 years ago in a particular open wheel sport that I can't say because it's trademarked. And he's still in 3rd is Ibrahim Khan. Matthew Williams in the very distinctive Stax Racing Corvette. Actually the fastest overall in Sector 1. You can see the spray being kicked up offline. Dynamic weather in rFactor 2, so if you drive around on the wet stuff, it will dry out. And where you don't, it doesn't. It's just like real life.
And absolutely, they're going to want to dry up that run into T1 just to make sure they've got a good launch down to it on the opening laps of the sprint race a bit later on. Plenty of time left in this qualifying session, about 8 minutes to go. Of course, the session will move over once we've reached the end of qualifying. No finishing laps towards the end of it, so you've really got to get your laps in pretty early. And here we are on board with a new car for us in the Split 1 of GT Challenge anyway. We've got BMW up for us. Go team, Julian Nadev. Nice to see a BMW on the grid. Really is something to bring a little bit of colour to the large amount, shall we say, of Corvettes and Ferraris.
Yeah, it's everybody seems to have taken the Corvette and the Ferrari. People joke about it in the comments about it being the Corvette Cup, but this is sim racing. You find out what the fastest car is or the easiest car to drive, and you use it. It would happen if it was the Porsche that was the best car, or the McLaren that was the best car. Yeah, who knows? We'll have a field full of radicals next season. That would be fun.
That would be fun. Although I'd always look at them and be like, is that a P2? Oh no,
It looks like a P3, doesn't it?
It does very much look like a prototype. Juan Carlos Fernandez into the first completed lap. Only 14th, didn't actually improve in that final bit. A little bit of controversy in the previous race with the DX Droids drivers, who were doing quite well at the Nürburgring, and then there was quite a few incidents that sort of threw everything about. Dan Kell, having moved from university back home, was racing somewhere karting in the United Kingdom. By racing, it really wasn't karting, it was more boating. Crosses the line for 17th. I'm sure he'll have Papa Kell over his shoulder telling him what to do in his strong northern accent. Look at this lap coming in from Mikael Smeedel, who's trying to depose Dan Kell's teammate Matt Richards, who's currently on the pole position, a race winner in the GT Challenge Series already this season, back in Sebring, the first round of the season. That's a little bit too quick from Smeedel, don't you think?
Yeah, I was watching Matt do some practice laps yesterday and looking at telemetry between his laps and Jonas Ravio's laps, who was flying in the first race of GT Pro last week. And it's amazing how you can carry over the real world stuff into the simulator to find that extra lap time. As Smeedel fails to go faster than Richards, that'll be because he went super duper deep into that final sector.
Yeah, it wasn't good enough. Matt Richards as well, taking a bit of an upgrade. By a bit, I mean has had large upgrades to his rig. That being a brand new computer, as Louis-Philippe Capamachan goes to 5th place. A new computer, plenty powerful enough to run rFactor 2. And then a new monitor as well, so he's playing the game at 144 hertz rather than 60, or I think it was actually probably close to 50 last round, which is not the ideal way to go racing. It is quite difficult. So now it's butter smooth, and looks like it is that way up towards the top end of the session. Here is Jordi Sveers, currently qualified only 9th place. This is the driver that's 3rd in the championship, just 7 points off of our championship leader, Mikael Smeedel. Of course, a race winner himself this season, back in Virginia, and also runner-up in the Nürburgring, where he was looking very strong, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Ferrari seems to be better over the long runs, even though those Ferrari drivers of Terzic and Sveers and Stolzer will say that the Ferrari is absolutely awful, but you know, we can see that you're lying. But that Ferrari definitely does seem better over a longer stint than in the 50-minute sprint races that we'll have first up.
I think it's more that it's just, it's not necessarily, I have no doubt that it's probably worse than its tyres than the Callaway, but it can just overtake, and that is so very important because the Callaways can't really overtake each other. Although that said, there was quite a large amount of difficulty from Jordi to overtake Timotej Andonovski on course for his first victory last time out. Elias Fernandez in 6th place. Nice improvement, gets himself above the Nürburgring winner. Matt Williams on his return to the series, only 8th place for him in this qualifying session. Saw some great pace from him at the Virginia International Raceway a fair while ago. Ibrahim Khan up towards the line, purple 2nd sector. Is there going to be any improvement from him? No, it is not. Only 4th place. He will stay, but 3 Zanchos, no bias, up in the top 4. Dan Kell, 13th place as well. Again, no bias. Moritz Mel, nice work from him to get that BMW into 12th place. You'll note that we have 26 drivers on the grid. We are missing 4. Miguel de los Rios being one of them. Roman Yakubovic, Jesper Eriksson, and Rory McDuff. Rory McDuff, the American, missing due to it being exam finals. And unfortunately, education may slightly take priority over over sim racing.
Sim racing is importanter than education.
Absolutely, I've seen those. Arjen Veltens to the line, goes 20th place. Obviously, one of our fresh promoters to the series. Actually, from his promotion, has already been moved. I think he's already been moved quite far up into the championship. He's actually 17th in the championship already, courtesy of taking 2 race victories in Server 2. Here's Matt Richards, our pole man at the moment, setting a good first sector, a good second sector as well. Looking pretty good for the Welshman. Apparently, he was going to change his wing end plates to the Union flag rather than the Welsh flag, which is a bold statement for a Welshman.
We should have put the English flag on it just to spite him.
I've got some other flags to stick on there, but I don't think he would have appreciated them.
A pirate flag.
I mean, I've got plenty. Don't worry. None of which Ed would also approve. I'm sure there's a few Pepes in there. Alan Terzic, nice first sector. Not a good second sector though. To the line, 5th place. Good drive. Got himself a good drive. Got himself a good penalty last time out. Quite a large one, I think it was in the second race. Maybe about 30 seconds.
It was 30 seconds,
one of a few drivers to get a penalty. I'm sure we can go into that after this qualifying session. Veltens, looking good through the first and second sector. I reckon this might put him somewhere close to the bottom end of the top 15. Let's take a look as he runs towards the line in that Callaway. Obviously, no bias from broadcast director, don't worry. 13th, there we go. Ding, ahead of Dan Cowell. Nice one. Nice lap.
I'm hoping Matthew Williams will have a better time out here than he did at Virginia, where he was just an unlucky passenger in an accident where he was just wiped out and broadsided by Alan Terzic, because he's been doing so well in terms of pace, only to be wiped out in just sheer bad luck.
His luck across the Portland International Raceway and the Virginia International Raceway was terrible. To the line this time, and no improvement. That'll be his session done. I don't think there'll be time for him to complete another lap before the checkered flag comes out in this session. Ninth place for him in this qualifying session might be a little bit disappointing, but I'm sure he'll be all right with that. Look at this. Look at this from David Serra. This is actually looking pretty tasty indeed. Could be somewhere inside the top 10 for the Spaniard. DX Droids already got a driver inside that top 10, being Fernandez. That'll be Ilias Fernandez. No, yes, it is Ilias Fernandez in 7th place. Obviously, there's Juan Carlos Fernandez as well. Towards the line, 3rd. Wow, what
That's a big lap
from David Serra. That is mad. I did not think he was going to hold that through the final sector. Big stuff as well. Here comes the Finn of Turka Hakkinen, 25th. He'll be bitterly disappointed with that. 23rd. He'll be bitterly disappointed with that for the Finn.
Yeah, that's not the pace we'd be expecting from Turga Hakkinen. When he was driving the Bentley last season, yes, but not in the Callaway with his talent levels. That's definitely not where he'd want to be, but still plenty of time to get it through the field in race 1.
5 seconds left on the clock. I think we move straight over, so I don't think Speedo's going to be able to finish this one off. No, but it's purple first, purple second. It looks like it's going to be a Zancho Simsport front row, though. Matt Richards on the pole from Ibrahim Khan. There we go, we move on. The time was not there for Mikael Smeedel, and Matt Richards grabs his first pole position of the season, his first pole position in GT Challenge, and breaks the threshold of Varga Sim Racing in that qualifying session. Now the question lies is, if they've beaten that in qualifying, are we going to see a different race winner in race 1? Mikael Smeedel, throughout the 4 sprint races we've had this season, has won all 4. And Matt Richards did say, before we went live this evening, the goal tonight is to break that record. And what a way to do it.
Yeah, a 10th and a half faster than Ibrahim Khan, who, let's be honest, he's just picked Mikael Smeedel to that 2nd place. But brilliant job from the Zancho boys. No bias. But yeah, we're in for a hell of a first race here.
We certainly are. Of course, regular format for the GT Challenge Series. Same as GT Pro. We do qualifying. We head into the first race, which is a shortened 15-minute affair. And then we take to the feature race a good 45 minutes around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Big note, of course, it is the penultimate round of the season. After this, we jet our way across to Spa. That's a good couple of weeks away, though, the 28th of December, when we hit the finale. And, of course, GT Pro's finale comes up before that. A few pointers for the Indianapolis Motor Speedway along straight away into that tight turn 1. Great overtaking opportunity. And then this sector, when it comes to turn 5, or turn 4, rather, the right-hander, before we go through the chicane, we should expect to see maybe the odd spinner through there. It's a very, very tricky corner. You've got the back straightaway into that 90-degree left. And then you've got this switchback section where we saw some beautiful racing between Erhan Yovsky and Jonas Raivio in the GT Pro. And I think we could be seeing the same thing again. It is still a little bit damp on track. We will note that one. I think we could be in for a tricky race start.
I don't think it's going to be wet enough to cause any issues under braking, but it's definitely something to think about when they do go into that corner. As just trying to see what's going on. That's the starting grid. There we go. Matt Richards, Ibrahim Khan locking out the front row. Mikael Smeedel will be looking to get up there. And David Serra with DX Droids. I want to see how well he does, because that was a blinding lap he put in.
It certainly was at the dying moments of the session. Luke D'Amelio and Alan Terzic on that 3rd row of the grid, with Louis-Philippe Cabmajan and Ilias Fernandez back in the grid. We were expecting to see maybe another RPM esports driver. We didn't get one. Timotei Antonovsky, the Nürburgring winner, down in 9th place, and hopefully a bit better luck for Matthew Williams. Jean Lacey Esports, that's a little bit disappointing from them. 11th and 12th for Kasper Stolzer in 3rd in the championship. Jordi Zveer starts from that 12th place. Pula Guslana from 13th with a great qualifying from Moritz Mell. And then Arjen Veltons on his debut in Server 1. Dankel, 16th place. He'll be pretty happy with that, considering he's not particularly comfortable in his rig at the moment. Jorgen de Dev, 17th position with Juan Carlos Fernandez. Chris Shepherd on his return to Split 1 with Nick Jacobs in behind, being beaten by his teammate. Only 20th place for the Dutchman. Mohamed Patel, way behind his teammates at the moment on his getting ready for his departure from John Lacey Esports Academy, with GB Racing Giancarlo Velarde and then Turka Hakkinen and Andrea Terzi in 24th place. The final two runners, Donat Pradan and the final runner on the grid, Vlad Tokarev in that Aston Martin. We're not too long away from starting this 15-minute race around the very short, very, very raceable, though, Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's quite a long run into turn 1, and I'm pretty sure Matt Richards won't want to go too early, will he, Aiden?
No, because everybody else will have a bigger run-up going into turn 1, therefore carrying higher speed. And I think Matt Richards just wants to avoid any carnage into turn 1. And the other thing being is that they're going to be curb hopping like it's the Gold Coast 600 through that chicane, so hopefully nobody will wipe themselves out getting the car off balance there.
Well, obviously there'll be no help between the two teammates. Matt Richards cannot tell Ibrahim Khan when he's going. It is against the rules of the series, so it is just Matt Richards by himself out front with Mikkel Smiegel, our championship leader, directly in behind him. Ibrahim Khan's not lined up alongside the Welshman, and we are underway in the sprint race of the rFactor 2 GT Challenge Series, powered by VCO. It's a good launch from Matt Richards with Ibrahim Khan, his teammate, in behind. Mikkel Smiegel already becoming under pressure from the great qualifying session of David Serra, who was almost looking down the inside. He's going to make contact with Mikkel Smiegel, going straight on. Oh my goodness me, that was quite a whack on the rear end. I don't think there'll be any major damage, but it was a very, very scary moment indeed. We've got a yellow flag out already. We'll have to go and check out which one that. I think it might be Turka Hakkinen.
Kapamajan's dropping down as well.
Louis-Philippe Kapamajan, there we go. I think actually Turka Hakkinen might have got away with that one. Either way, Matt Richards leading. Ibrahim Khan, Mikkel Smiegel has got through, or rather holding on, and got very much into the slipstream of Ibrahim Khan, who's going to maybe go for the race lead coming down the end of the back straight away. It's not going to work. Matt Richards still leading.
Everybody through the first, the only chicane very cleanly as Moritz Mel up the inside of Chris Shepherd. Chris Shepherd upside Moritz Mel. So I got that the wrong way around, but through the tricky S-bends towards turn 9, where you can cut so much of that curb on the inside to get a decent run towards the snake pit. You can see them there taking all of that apex and using all the curb possible, and then sort of coming back into contact with the famous Brickyard Oval as we go back to the front here. Khan got about half a second up to Matt Richards in front, but Matt Richards seems to be semi-comfortable up there at the front.
Depends how much he wants to play wingman at the moment, does Ibrahim Khan. End of the first lap, Richards leads Khan, Smiedel, Serra, D'Amelio, 3 Sanchez inside the top 5. Ed Trelli and Johnson will be happy with that one. Alan Terzic in 6th place with Fernandez, Williams, Zveers. Got himself inside the top 10 at the moment, ahead of Andonovski, the Nürburgring winner. Into turn 1, still easy on the defence from Matt Richards. No need to move offline at the moment, which you really don't want to do in these slightly tricky conditions. It's fine on the racing line, but the moment you move off it, things become very, very tricky indeed. Like I say, good lap at the moment to open up the race from Jordi Zveers. Our focus being that top 10. It gets reversed for the feature racer at the moment. Andonovski looking pretty good for that reverse grid pole. But that's saying it with 13 minutes left to go in the race. Ibrahim Khan, though, was so close to his teammate going into that section. I don't think Matt Richards is particularly fast through that chicane.
That was his trouble spot last night when I was watching in practice. But here we are with Louis-Philippe Kapamajan heading up towards turn 1. A little bit late on the brakes. Does he get a tap?
Oh, Andonovski.
Yeah, there he goes. He's been tipped out. That's put him right down the back end. Luckily, it's concrete there. He can just drive back onto the track.
Andonovski just sort of left it on the inside there a little bit awkwardly. Dankel gets himself inside the top 15. I think Juan Carlos Fernandez as well was promoted and all of that. Here is that battle between Chris Shepherd and literally the rest of the grid, leaving it down the inside of the penultimate corner as well. Turka Hakkinen going around the outside of one of the BMWs there. That one will be Jorgi de Dev. That was a little bit tricky for him, a little bit dicey. Dankel moves up into 15th place. And Chris Shepherd on his return to Split 1 will be desperate to move himself up. Done a good job in Split 2 to get himself into Split 1 again. Obviously was in Split 1 at the start of the season. But didn't do so well. There's quite a dive though from the Englishman on the inside of Cal. Oh, that's a nice attempt though. And this is only slowing down Mohamed Patel.
Yeah, he's got to be careful on the inside of turn 1. That curb is very high and can really upset the car. And you'll see it again as they come through turn 3 here, which then leads into the 4-5, which is the fast chicane. You see him get up on 2 wheels, and if you take too much of that, you can spin out, and if you upset the car too much, you'll go too wide on the exit, and that's going to be a cut track penalty coming your way if you do it too often.
Jordi Veers has got by Matthew Williams as well for 8th place, so moving his way up the order, the Ferrari man, just a couple of positions behind his teammate Alan Terzic, who's now behind Luca Di Melio. We've seen those two battle it out a couple of times this season, most notably at the Portland International Raceway, where Alan Terzic was victorious in the feature race in that Ferrari for John Lacey Esports Academy, a track that seems to be working out in the favour of him. Back to our race leaders, Matt Richards with Ibrahim Khan and Smeedle in tow. It's all looking pretty close, but 2 seconds back, David Serra, they have pulled a huge gap on that lot. This is looking pretty good for Mikael Smeedle to potentially try something, just 2 tenths behind. Ibrahim Khan looking to the inside into turn 1, he's not really there, who gets back into the slipstream. Doesn't fancy a dive down the inside. Talk us through the replay.
Right, so Chris Shepherd here trying to go around the outside of Jordi Dev. Dan Kell's sort of smelling blood here, or Jordi Dev is off and round. And then Kell with a sublime cutback to try and get the run up towards the snake pit. Use all the curb on the inside just for that extra bit of room. And then hard on the brakes, a little bit of contact. And, it's all kicking off behind, isn't it? Jordi Dev nearly rolling his BMW. Look at the size of that thing. Yet Kell eventually wins that battle.
Not known for being small at all. The top 3 still separated by less than a second. I think Jordi Veers was trying to make a move on Elias Fernandez, and in that has actually dropped off the back even further. Those lot dropped off the back of Terzic by about 1.5 seconds. You can see the gap sort of growing. David Serra not really having the pace that his qualifying seemed to show. It was a great lap at the end of it, but maybe just almost a little bit too quick, respectfully, for his talents. Just not quite able to keep up with the top 3. Luca Di Melio in tow, you would suggest potentially has a little bit more legs to go and chase after his Zancho teammates, but 3 seconds down the road, I don't think it's going to be too easy to grab. Is there a move going for the race leader? No, Ibrahim Khan's going to stay behind Matt Richards. Nothing happening. We ride on board with Jordi Veers. Easy. Oh, Matt Richards and Smeedle. Matt Richards and Smeedle have spun. What has happened there? I did not catch that. Ibrahim Khan takes the race lead from David Serra. There has been definite contact between Mikael Smeedle and Matt Richards. Matt Richards down to 13th. Mikael Smeedle to 10th, dropping further back now. I think he's trying to return the position maybe to Matt Richards. Oh my goodness me, what has happened? There is a lot of damage on the front end of that car. We will need a replay of that. Ibrahim Khan to the race lead. Mikael Smeedle's not going to be winning this sprint race. 9 minutes left on the clock, and he's being attacked by Paul Auguste Lana to try and move himself up inside the top 10.
I can only imagine that Smeedle tried to launch it up the inside of Khan into turn 1 and didn't see that Richards was still turning in and absolutely gave him a whack. But we'll see what happens in a replay as soon as our broadcast director Rubens pulled that up.
Apparently it may have been a bit more of a game-related issue, an internet connection-related issue, something of that sense. I'm just going to double-check. Rather than it being a dive bomb in some degree, more just poor luck. That's why I didn't think that there was any way that Smeedle was getting there. It was just a lag from Richards. That's why I was wondering why he had damage on the front end of the car. It made no sense for there to be damage on the front end. Well, Antonovsky is not wasting any time on the inside of Kasper Stolzer, who's... Oh, Kasper. We said before he's been a little bit naughty, and that was also a little bit naughty between the two of them. They were pinching and squeezing between the two, and now Antonovsky is almost being dived himself by Paul Auguste Lana. That was naughty between the two of them. Let's be honest, they both need a bit of a slap on the wrist for that one.
Richards is...
He'll be annoyed.
He's going to be annoyed, so he's going to be driving. He's going to be driving hard now. Maybe if he can get himself back up to 10th, he'll have another go for round 2.
Obviously, he'll be quite frustrated, considering new PC and all that, and would have expected these things not to happen. But naturally, there's more things than that to discuss it. Oh, on the inside though. Oh, that was silly. That was silly. Good catch from Richards though. That was Arjen, I think it was Arjen Veltons on the inside though, that just sort of dived it half-heartedly down the inside and just caused a little bit of an instant narrows on the inside of Juan Carlos Fernandez. And they're going to go side by side. Juan Carlos Fernandez might be able to just hang on to this one. He's got the inside for the penultimate corner. Matt Richards up to 11th place. Now has to chase down the Nürburgring winner of Timotej Antonovsky if he wants to move his way further up the grid. Ibrahim Khan, though, leads by nearly 3 seconds over David Serra. Luke D'Amelio is trying to make it a Zancho Simsport 1-2 regardless of issues.
Richard's putting Andonovski under a lot of pressure. Andonovski went a little bit too deep into turn 1 there, as Veltins swings it in past Juan Carlos Fernandez. It's all kicking off now, isn't it?
What was it that I said before broadcast that Ed Terrell Johnson says I bet the reputation of the team. So it was something in that vein about the reputation of the team on the line. That this round is going to be cleaner than the last couple, and we're not looking so great.
We've just lost all of our reputation.
Good move though by Matthew Williams on the inside of Ilias Fernandez up to 6th place, looking like another storming drive from Williams, the lone Stax Racing driver. Doing very, very well again, which I'm kind of going to try and avoid talking about, because every time we do, something bad goes on. He had a good run in the first race of Portland, if I remember correctly, and then it all kind of fell apart in race 2. Might have been VIR. It was a long time ago now.
VIR was when he got wiped out by
in race 2, yes,
an
absolutely.
errant Ferrari.
Yeah, it may well have been Alan Terzic, who might well have sent Mikael Smeedel, the man we're on board with, over the top of roller coaster, which is quite a large dip on the other side of it. Mikael Smeedel's trying to move his way back up the order. No way to move on Kasper Stolzer. You've got to be a little bit careful, because by my money, Stolzer, obviously it was between the two of them, between Andonovski and Stolzer, but by my money, I think Stolzer almost initiated it, which is kind of like a little bit of a childish thing to do. Oh, Luca D'Amelio's got by David Serra, by the way, up to 2nd place. It is a Zancho Simsport 1-2. Yellow flags out in Sector 1. Chris Shepherd's out of the race.
Yeah.
And Vlad Tokarev moving down the order as well, so he's going to be moving his way further down. Alan Terzic is trying to get himself onto the podium. That's the driver that we're
out as well.
At. Oh, another retirement. Goodness. There we go. We are getting ourselves a little bit dirty. Still yellow flags out in Sector 1. Khan leading, D'Amelio, Serra, and then Terzic as well. The podium looking pretty hard fought. Talk us through this.
All right, so D'Amelio following up in towards the snake bit. Ooh, wow. Ooh. Daniel Ricciardo, eat your heart out.
I don't think he meant that. Oh my goodness. Now he's trying to break the slipstream of David Serra as well. 2nd place at the moment, still trying to defend 3.7 seconds up the road. His teammate, David Serra, is going for 2nd place, though he's looking down the inside of turn 1. David Serra is going to make that one stick on Luca D'Amelio, and the DX Droids driver goes back into 2nd. Alan Terzic is going to try and still get himself on the podium. He just needs to overtake a Callaway with 3.5 minutes to go.
You'd probably put money on Luca D'Amelio being able to do it, but with the way this track is, with such heavy braking zones, it could flip-flop every lap.
Oh, well, this looks like quite a replay. We've got a bit of 3 wide there, as that's Captain Majan. There's being spun as well by the Scuderia. That's just,
a wheel.
Oh, there's a wheel. That's just that. I don't even know where to begin with that replay. There was so much going on. 3 wide into turn 1, with someone also diving in behind, almost trying to make it 4 wide. Oh, yeah, where to begin?
I think it's best you don't.
I think we can get another view of it. Yeah, here we are on board with Paul Auguste-Lana. You can see the 3 wide there. You've got Louis-Philippe Capamajan. There's it was Nick Jacobs, rather, who kind of came across. And, yeah, all of this.
Vlad Tokarev getting a penalty for track limits.
Yeah, I don't even know where to begin with that one. On board with Andrea Terzi.
He's got the track to himself.
Yeah. He's well, you say that. Look at the gap. Yeah. Look at the gap. He may have it to himself, but he is being pushed by another German manufacturer, the BMW of Gotin, the Gothenburg-based outfit, I believe. Jürgen Adev and Moritz Mell, 2 Swedes. 2 minutes 10 seconds left on the clock. So each time they go into turn 1 is an opportunity sort of waiting. And remember that these are really, really important when it comes to their race 2 starting positions. Richards is closing in on Timotej Andonovski, but obviously he's going to have some damage on the front end of that car, which is going to make it pretty tricky to drive. Alan Terzic is trying to go, by the way, for 3rd place. Let's take a look at this replay. This is how David Serra got 2nd place back on the inside of turn 1.
That's a huge send.
It was quite a send. Well, they are definitely battling it out for that third place. Alan Terzic very much a part of it. He was looking down the inside into the back straightaway into that 90 left. Wasn't able to do anything. Looking like an inspired drive by Ibrahim Khan at the moment. It's really fallen into his hands by a little bit of good luck. But still, he's doing the work, isn't he?
Yeah, getting the luck is good, but I think a lot of the time you'll have wanted to earn it rather than it being handed to you through chance. But still, Michael Smeedel at the back end of the Jean-Laise Esports Ferrari coming through the final corner. So it's now just a slipstream fest towards the turn 1, which will be the final lap, I think. Looking at the clock.
Indeed. It will be indeed. And I don't think Matt Richards is going to get himself into 10th place without a bit of luck, because he's just about a second behind Timotej Andonovski. He's not got too long to go. There's Mohamed Patel in 15th place, trying to chase down the DX Droids driver that's directly ahead of him. That one's Juan Carlos Fernandez. Mikel Smeedel's not able to make any progress on the Ferrari, and I think he's going to have a little bit of a troubled chance to move his way up in that sense, because it's not easy to get by a Ferrari at the best of times with their straight line speed. I think the Ferrari penalty for Ilias Fernandez, that's 7th place. That'll be the position to Matt Richards. So Matt Richards will be 10th in all of this. Get on the blower to Zancho, because he now needs to risk absolutely nothing. A crucial penalty for Ilias Fernandez, gifting positions backwards to Smeedel, Andonovski and Richards as well, which is so crucial when it comes to the reverse grid race. Now coming down into that final complex of corners with just 7 seconds left on the clock, it will be enough for Ibrahim Khan, the Zancho Simsport man. They are going to break the threshold that has been held at the moment by Vargasim Racing, by Mikel Smeedel. It has gone. Ibrahim Khan wins the sprint race here at Indianapolis. The third 4 races to go in the championship, and Ibrahim Khan on top. David Serra onto the podium with Luca D'Amelio. There is Fernandez into the pit lane, which will give the positions to Smeedel, Andonovski and Matt Richards, who will finish the race in 10th place. Good fortune does end up going a little bit his way after a terribly unlucky race, and that'll be reverse grid pole. Great drive from Arjen Veltens, Dan Kell, Carlos Fernandez, Nick Jacobs, Mohamed Patel as well inside that top 15. But wow, what a drive from this man. Had the pace to keep it with the top 3 whilst they were pulling away from David Serra. Then luck went his way and was not seen for the rest of the race. Ibrahim Khan victorious here in Indianapolis.
Whew, to paraphrase Martin Brundle, is that Fernandez? As Matt Richards is going to have another chance at winning a race tonight. But yeah, 3 Zanchos in the top 10. Ed Trevell and Johnson will be very, very happy with that. Although he probably would have preferred a 1, 2, 3 there for the team. But yeah, the Jean Lacey cars all in there too. But they'll have pretty decent long run pace in the next race. So don't think it will be as easy for the Zancho Corvettes next time around.
But we normally see Mikel Smeedel winning the race and starting race 2 from 10th, working his way up and finishing somewhere near the podium. This time he only has to do the work from 3rd place after finishing in 8th.
Again.
It's going to be interesting how he works his way up the order. For Jordi Sveers, our 3rd in the championship, Luca D'Amelio, 2nd in the championship coming into this. Obviously, they're going to pull in that gap a little bit to Smeedel. It was just 6 and 7 points between Luca D'Amelio, Jordi Sveers, and now championship leader. So they're all pretty tight when it comes to this title race. It may well look as if it was very much a Mikel Smeedel battle, you know, and who's going to be the man to stop him? Is anyone going to be able to? Because he's looked so dominant. But that feature race just really throws things into the mix and makes things super open when it comes to this championship.
Yeah, it can all change in a heartbeat. Have one bad run and you've dropped a lot of points. So keep your eyes open for the next 45 minutes of racing. It's going to be an absolute belter.
And with that also, we only have 3 races to go in the rFactor 2 GT Challenge Series powered by VCO, and this is where things get really, really interesting. What a thrilling fight it will be heading into Spa based on what we're seeing now, including drop scores and all that lark. We're going to have to do some mathematics when we get to Spa, right? And I hope you're ready.
I can't maths.
Neither can I. Well, leave it to Ruben. He could do it. He's smart. He just pushes the buttons for the cameras.
I'll get Alex Sable to do it again because he did it for me last year.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he had the spreadsheet and he updated it in real time and then he sent it to me. It's just like,
so you looked a lot smarter than you actually were.
Yeah.
Nice one. Ah, here we go. Really
bias.
only. Nick Jacobs and Arjen Veltons. Obviously, they've only had Nick Jacobs in Split 1 for the entire season. But now joined by Arjen Veltons, who's won 2 races in Split 2. Done very well in Split 2 as Veltons, and finally got his call up into Split 1 with 4 podiums as well to his name. Like I said, he's already been moved pretty mid-table. It was 17th that he's already entered the series in. Very good-looking cars as well. Not to be confused with Roman Grade New Sports. These boys were doing it first. Nick Jacobs as well. He's not had the greatest season, has Nick Jacobs. He started it quite well at Sebring, if I remember correctly. I had a good few points hauls. But from that point on, I've sort of like been struggling to get near like consistently decent positions.
Yeah, it does seem that way. He's like you say, had a good start, but sometimes you just lose your momentum for whatever reason. It might take you a while to get back into things, but hopefully you can have a decent final round on the 28th of December. But looking towards the final 45-minute race at Indy, let's see what can happen, because anything can happen over the next 45 minutes.
Yeah, of course. We've also got to remember that between the 2 rounds that we've got there, round 5 and round 6, we also have on the 21st of December, of course, the GT Pro Series finale at Spa, and also for VCO on the 26th of December. I've got to give it a bit of a shout out. There's an award ceremony, a small one. You might have heard about it.
No,
me neither.
No.
The VCO Simi Awards. I think the live broadcast with Ben Constanduris coming up on the 26th. Black Hawk Racing. They've had a few. I was going to say they've got a few drivers. I don't think Kubovic is here though. So this is. Didn't we do this before? We had another one where we had we had a look at a team and like, yeah, their drivers aren't there. So this is almost feels a little bit.
Yeah, they're not. I'm looking at the running order, and yeah, you're right, they're not here.
Roman driving the Porsche, which is very nice. That Aston also looks quite good. Of course, they run an Aston in the Virtual Endurance Championship as well. I believe they also run a Ferrari in that, of course, GTEs rather than GT3s. Nevertheless, a 45-minute race ahead of us with rain potential as well, just to spice things up. And how spicy it'll be. It's certainly looking wet out on track at the moment. I don't know if you're watching this, Aidan.
Yeah, I'm seeing it on my screen. That's that can only be described as damp. Of
course, they are in warm-up at the moment. We're not actually in a race session.
We are now.
We are now. But the wet weather seeming to play its fair part as we head into the feature race of the rFactor 2 GT Challenge Series powered by VCO. 45 minutes will be on the clock, and it will be a tricky one. Certainly, rain played its part in the GT Pro Series. Let's take a look at the grid order then, with Matt Richards on pole position again, with Timotej Andonovski alongside him. The Nürburgring winner, Mikael Smedel, yet to win a feature race this season, and Kasper Stolzer in behind. Matthew Williams starts from 5th place, with Jordi Zveers, Alan Terzic, and Luca D'Amelio starting from 7th and 8th. We've seen those two battle plenty of times, including in the previous race, of course. Behind that, the top 2 from the previous race, David Serra in 9th place and Ibrahim Khan after his debut victory in the series. Arjen Veltons 11th place and Dan Kell in 12th will look to stay out of trouble in this race after being promoted that position. Juan Carlos Fernandez in 13th, Nick Jacobs 14th, Mohamed Patel and Paul Auguste Lana starts from 15th and 16th place. Then we've got Jorgen Adev, Moritz Mel, Andrea Terzi and Donat Prodan. There we go. We can see some rain in the background, and that is very accurate to what we're seeing out on the circuit. It is a wee bit damp. Ilias Fernandez, after that late race penalty, dropped down into 21st place with Turka Hakkinen. Disappointing drives a little bit further down here. Vlad Tokarev and Giancarlo Velarde. A couple extra retirements starting from 25th and 26th. Louis-Philippe Capamajan, who's been in trouble a little bit this season, with Chris Shepherd on his return to Split 1, going about as well as the reason he left it in the first place. We'll see if he can clean his way up the order. Wet weather scenes that we're seeing here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway with that 45-minute race. Are we going to see more rainfall throughout it? Are we going to see dry weather ending up? Are we going to see that rain stop and that nice drying circuit? Aidan, we're in for an absolute treat here.
Yeah, we're told there's like a 35% chance of rain, but in Pro, it absolutely hammered down, but as soon as it had come, it had stopped. So those who pitted for wet tyres really missed out, and the track only got to like 27% wet, which isn't enough really for the wet tyre. So some drivers are going to have to make a call, or maybe some drivers in a team who are further back might end up being the guinea pig for any wet weather running. Or wet tyre running, I should say.
You hear this chat all the time of visibility. Oh, visibility in the mid-pack. And you think, oh, it can't be that bad. Oh,
it's horrible.
Believe me, mid-pack here on rFactor 2 in the wet weather, you can see nothing except spray and maybe, if you're lucky, some brake lights. I reckon we may see a little bit of an issue in that mid-pack heading into that very, very tight turn 1.
Or the chicane.
Hopefully they would have gone single file by that point. But it's quite hard to judge when you're single file, of course.
Andonovski's on wets. I've just been reliably informed.
Yes, this is the thing. Is obviously, you know, free tyre choice and how that'll play into it. I don't know what Matt Richards is on in all of this. I believe he is on slick tyres. It is wets indeed for Andonovski. It's wet tyres for
also
Smeedle.
On wets.
Yeah, indeed. We'll need to keep on top of this one. Slick tyres for Matt Richards. Could that be a bit of a gamble here in these slightly wet conditions? Feature race coming up, the penultimate one of the season, the rFactor 2 GT Challenge Series, powered by VCO. Lewis McGlade alongside Aidan Millward in the commentary booth, getting very, very close. They're all contact as well between Matt Richards and Timotej Andonovski. I'm sure the Welshman won't be happy with that as he sets off to take the lead again. Mikael Smeedle going side by side with Kasper Stolzer in the background. It's a good launch from Andonovski, who's staying in that slipstream behind. We look backwards from Matt Richards to the chasing pack as we head into turn 1 at Indianapolis. Braking early, Andonovski's nearly going to get a hit from Kasper Stolzer, diving it down the inside. Mikael Smeedle making contact with Kasper Stolzer and pushing him out wide. Richards leads, Andonovski, Smeedle, Stolzer. Jordi Zveers has got by Matthew Williams as well, so 5th place for him. Terzic, D'Amelio, Kel already up into 9th place. Nice work from him, and Ibrahim Khan in 10th.
Yeah, so just a reminder, Andonovski on wets, Smeedle on wets, Richards on wets. So those three, as they would say, V8 supercars are the pioneers, but it's all going to be what happens over the course of the race. If that rain comes, will it come while they're still on wets, or will they, will the track dry out too much in the interim?
Jordi Zveers has made a move already, by the way, up into 4th place, getting by his teammate Kasper Stolzer, so he's marching up the order at the moment. Hopefully, in his case, Kasper Stolzer will play a little bit rear gunner here, and he certainly needs to aid his teammate to try and get himself this championship that he so desperately wants. Yellow flag out in Sector 3, not sure who that one's for. It's Paul Auguste-Lana, who's dropped right the way down to the back end of the field. Matt Richards leading the way again, 0.3 per second over the Nürburgring winner and our championship leader as well in behind, Mikael Smeedle. Like I said, not won a feature race this season. Has been on the podium a couple of times in the feature race, has won 4 of the sprint races, but not a feature one. Here comes Andonovski, a man who has won a feature race to the inside of Matt Richards. Absolutely nothing that Mikael Smeedle can see, especially with that shade on the grandstand. There goes Andonovski to the race lead. Wasn't covered off at all by Matt Richards. Why was that?
Good question. Richards still finding his way, maybe? I don't know. It's... Here we go. Here's the replay of the start. Ian Velton's. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Nothing. Thankfully, these cars have brake lights. An open wheeler wouldn't. Bit of curb hopping. And,
hello.
That was Ibrahim. And Dan Calder says, see you later, and he's through.
Yeah, I did wonder why Ibrahim was a little bit lower down than maybe we'd have expected, and getting passed by his teammate. And all of that, and also David Serra outside of the top 10. Battle for the what is now 2nd place between Smeedle and Richards. Obviously, the last time these battled, there was a little bit of an issue into turn 1 when it came to Matt Richards' connection to the race, dropping backwards into Smeedle's car. Andonovski 1.3 seconds clear. I mean, I'm a little bit, like I say, I'm a little bit shocked that Matt Richards didn't even cover off into T1. I would have expected a little bit more. Maybe he is trying to find his footing, but still, you want to find your footing in the best possible way, i.e. lead the race. Smeedle's not hanging around though. Oh, taking a much better line through that final corner. Matt Richards is trying to hit it too early when it comes to that white line, trying to apex too soon. He needs to go for some slightly later ones and carry the run out of the corner rather than trying to pick the apex up early. Smeedle's on the inside of him on the run into T1. There we go. And Mikael Smeedle is going to be picking up 2nd place. Matt Richards is just going to back out of it and smartly drop into 3rd place. But the more he does so, the more Jordi Zveers is going to be closing as well. Here's Andonovski's move. Let's watch this from Richards. There was almost a want to cover and then just didn't bother. Andonovski coming back across, obviously, to try and get himself a great run through T1. Certainly does so. Little bit of contact between the two of them, but nothing too major.
the other question is, has Matt actually put the wet tyres on? Because there's mixed messages coming from all sides.
I've got him on slicks.
You've got him on slicks, right?
Yeah, I don't think so. That makes a lot more sense.
Ooh. So if it rains soon, then Andonovski and Smeedle are going to be in pole position, really, because they won't have to pit for new tyres.
Yeah, indeed. I don't know. I mean, I can only pull this from one location, which is just like in-game what I'm visually seeing them run on, which obviously isn't the ideal scenario. But Andonovski at the moment is definitely on wet. Same with Smeedle. Maybe it was a bit of a risk. As far as I can see, Yordi in behind as well. Again, very, very hard to tell. It does look like he is also on slicks. I think pretty much everyone else is on slicks.
So everybody except Andonovski and Smeedle, right? So that's that covered. As Tim say, Andonovski does the fastest lap of the race so far, 1:28.4. As we see, Mo Patel and Moritz Mel flying down the back straight, or sorry, the front straight. Not enough slipstream on these cars for Mel to do anything major, but he's having a sniff. That is a very, very big car.
Certainly is. This is where hashtag need a tar graphic comes out. Oh,
yeah.
Contact there between Donat Pradhan and Chris Shepherd, just making a little bit of a bump into T2, and now Chris Shepherd to the inside of the Ferrari. That was going to be brave. I'm also oh yeah, of course, you can actually see on the side of the car. I didn't realise you can also tell there. Oh, Andonovski's gone! Andonovski's gone!
Oh dear!
Andonovski has gone from the race lead. Mikhail Smeedle takes it. Oh my goodness me! He just turned across too much. Now hits the wall as well. Andonovski from the race lead. Wow!
Was that a lucky of the rear brakes going into turn one? Maybe.
I think no. It's not T1. Did you say T1?
I don't. There's so much spray.
I think he went too far over to the left-hand side, trying to turn in for a good line through as we go through this sort of S's section, getting ready for that run on the back end of the track. I think he just goes too left. Oh, he does, and just drops the rear. Oh, silly.
Turn 9.
Thanks.
Oh, there he goes again. That's a replay. Okay.
Yeah, it's just a replay. Don't panic.
See, from that angle, it looks like turn 1.
Yeah, well, now he's down in 8th place. We'll see if he can work his way up the order. As far as I can see, pretty much everyone else is on slick tyres, with the exception of Smeedle and Andonovski. Pretty much everyone else. So, as far as I can see, Richards and Sveers and stuff, they're all on slick tyres. They've got a yellow band on the side, which is a slick tyre, and then if they've got a wet tyre, it's more of like there's no band there, basically. It's kind of like there's a little bit of white, like
right. So I got you.
Like kind of paintwork, but that's sort of like the easiest way. If not, if you've got really, really good vision and you can see past YouTube's compression, you might just about to see some grooves. Maybe.
The other thing is though that you can see that the track is visibly drying out, so the track is starting to come back towards Richards and Sveers over Smeedle. So. Again, if it rains, where's that crossover point going to be?
It's it's risky business at the moment. It's kind of like the time when I wouldn't want to be a strategist.
Well, that race we did at Snetterton a few months ago, where half the field was on wets and half the field was on dries, and the track dried out.
Okay, but let's not speak about that, Martin.
That's kind of the situation we're in.
A more realistic sort of a take on the scenario is David Serra, I think, is about to be passed here by... is that Nick Jacobs? No, it's
one of the two.
Simon Veltons,
Yep.
It's the 47. Just over T1 and Veltons goes through. Yeah, pretty solid move. More accurately, if we look at the GT Pro race last time, where there was... obviously, it was a dry race. It then started raining, and a few people came in for wets. And what was important to know is, yes, the rain was a lot less than what we're seeing now, like as in like a shorter period towards the midpoint of the race. Those that pitted were faster, but not by much. It wasn't by enough to scare anyone on the slicks, because the pit lane timer was you lose too much. So it's kind of in the same vein with this. Of course, for Smeedle, whose gap, by the way, has gone. It is now half a second to Matty Richards. who set the fastest lap of the race in the previous one, a 27.6. It's going to be much faster on this in comparison to speed. Well, I think there's been a few mistakes as Matt Williams is trying to move his way past Kasper Stolzer for 5th place.
But look how much Richards has gapped Sveers as well in that period.
Look at that. Smeedle's in the pit lane. Smeedle's gone into the pit lane.
Dries.
Mikael Smeedle not feeling the wet weather tyres. So regardless of whether he was waiting for more rain, that's out of the window now. He has decided that it's a better idea to switch to the slick tyres, and Mikael Smeedle hands the race lead over to Matt Richards. Wow, wow, wow. He didn't get a drive through this early, did he? No, he is.
No, he's pitting for Dries.
I was going to say, surely he's not. It's just his box is very late in the pit lane.
It's a very long pit lane at Indy as well.
Though it's effectively a huge penalty for doing this, because now he's going to have to use the same tyres as everyone else to try and cruise up to the back of everyone, to try and get past everyone. A monster mistake for our championship leader, Mikael Smeedle. Wow. Aiden, heading into the final round of the season, you do not want to be making mistakes like that this late, especially now. Like, his drop score was quite a low score already.
Yeah, I was going to say that, because Smeedle scores so highly virtually every round. His drop, if this is like another...
Well, this will be his drop score. The thing is his drop score that currently holds, which this realistically will beat him for those of you that will try and get into that. We'll try and sort as Turka Hakkinen goes for a little bit of lawn mowing. It is obviously your lowest score across the season is your drop score, and we have that on one round. His round where he got a drop score was not a good one. Yes, he won the first race, but it was at the Portland International Raceway where he had a tumultuous effort in that second race, basically taken out half the grid in his march up towards the front. And by front, I mean about 20th place, because he literally it wasn't a good drive.
He hit everything.
He literally just hit everything. Luca D'Amelio to the inside of Matthew Williams. Oh, my goodness me. There we go. He completely overdid that. And Matthew Williams is thinking, can I have some luck, please?
I don't think...
Was there a bit of a smash? Oh, no,
that was
Jacobs.
I think that was an apology flash, but yeah, that's not good. That's suboptimal.
Suboptimal indeed. That was, I think it was like a hard spin and then like just rejoin the circuit and all of that, and then chaos ensued and hit Moritz Mel or one of the other. Oh yeah, no, it's not pretty anyway. I'm sure we'll either grab a replay, or it depends on the bias and broadcast.
Well, he's going to have to. He's going to have to suck it up and watch his cars crash.
Well, talk us through this one.
Right, Vlad Tokarev. Okay, thank you. I'll have that position back, thanks. And he's on his merry way again. Yeah,
easy one there from him getting past Donat Prodan, who just completely overdid turn one. Oh, there's Chris Shepherd as well. Oh, no!
And Tokarev.
Oh, no.
It's like...
is this when Turka Hakkinen goes lawn mowing? Oh, no.
I think he...
Oh, it's after that. So no. We're all right. We'll skip that one. Oh, God. Another fastest lap then from Matt Richards, pulling out another 3/10 on Jordi Sveers. This is looking like an inspired drive from the Welshman in the wet. Looking very, very good for him. Here's another replay. This is what happened to Turka Hakkinen. Talk us through it.
Is there contact here? We're about to find out. No, just dropped it on that high curb. Lost the rear end. And doing some work for Valtteri Bottas.
Andonovski's gone again. Timotej Andonovski has gone again. He is in 7th place, has skipped half the circuit in the opening part of the lap whilst battling with Ibrahim Khan and Dan Kell. Dan Kell looking pretty good in the wet, certainly better in the wet than he was in the dry. And this is looking like his best drive since joining Split 1. We're saying that, I'm so slow here. Looking pretty good, though.
Oh, God. He does talk like that, though.
He's northern. We said we were going to try and get the northern accent into it. We were going to maybe say it about his dad saying, you need to drive faster, son. But didn't need to.
He's being attacked by the massager, and that's willing him on to drive quicker.
No, apparently that's his
he
got a massive hit from behind.
And then another one.
And then another one. Might have been from the person that hit him. Kel, though, on the back of Khan, looking actually faster than Khan, I would argue, at the moment. Another replay coming up. Here we go with fast fire in these ones. This is on board with Jorgen. So, yeah, I think there is going to be...
This is going to be a... Yep.
And then you just get hit by the man.
Yeah,
I mean, to be
snooker,
fair,
they call that a double kiss.
To be fair. Oh, Andonovski's gone again. Andonovski has gone again. That is with Ibrahim Khan. Oh, my goodness me. As we come back to the live shots, Andonovski round to the final corner, and the replays keep stacking up.
Where it's Mel in the pit lane. Or will that be for damage or tyres? Nick Jakob's also in the pit lane.
Durga Hakkinen departing pit lane.
Is it hammering it down?
I don't know. We don't have many people on the wets, so it's wet.
There's wipers on.
Yeah, there are wipers on anyway. I think it is raining a little bit. Either way, Dan Kelt being passed by Arjen Veltens back down to 9th place after all of that. Had to back out of it when Andonovski spun. It is raining again, getting the call from race director, race producer. I don't know what he wants to be called these days. Jimmy Allison.
Racecaster.
Racecaster Jimmy Allison. Let's take a look at this replay. This is what happened with Ibrahim Khan and Timotei Andonovski. Aidan, what is going on here?
Well, Ibrahim Khan is going to try and flick it up the inside. Oh, that's on Ibrahim.
Oh, Ibra. Buddy. Like, that is not... Oh, my goodness, who's that spun? Ibra's gone again. Ibra's gone. Ibra has gone. Oh, my goodness. Every time we go to a replay, there is carnage and chaos here at Indianapolis. Ed Trevelyan Johnson, you said it was going to be cleaner, son. You were wrong, man. Oh, my God. Ibra and Mohammed Patel going side by side in the final corner. Mohammed Patel is moving himself inside the top 10. There's 4 Jean Lacy Esports Academy cars inside the top 10 now. Ferraris galore at Indianapolis. Back to the inside. I think that there might have been a little bit of like, mate, that wasn't very clean from you, Mr. Patel. And so Ibrahim Khan goes back through. Aidan.
I think Ruben needs a new keyboard because that Arky has been obliterated tonight. Where's he going? Deja vu. Yeah, just offline. Off that dry line that was just about there, but he still managed to spin his way out of trouble.
Maybe distracted by Durga Hakkinen and all that. He was just trying to get out of the way, effectively. These are really tricky conditions, and with half an hour left on the clock, your race engineers are going to be thinking, I do not know what advice to give you. You go onto wets, they will be faster. You want to be the first one to go onto wets to take advantage of those wet tyres, as we see on board with Andonovski. What is going? Oh, no. That's not good from Patel. That was not a good move.
That's not an Archie moment. That's the wrong guy, isn't it?
Wrong guy. Yeah. That was me Patel on. Would have been Philippe Capamajan. So Capamajan getting some of what he dished out back in Portland. Not liking it himself as we return to the United States. Luca D'Amelio is going to try and get himself a second Zancho inside the top 5 with a move on Matthew Williams. He'd have to take quite a dive, and with that wet line on the inside, that's brave stuff as he's tried this move a couple of times. Does get down the inside of Matthew Williams, then spins Matthew Williams. Oh my goodness me, Matthew Williams, where is your luck, son? And oh my goodness me, penalty already applied to Luca D'Amelio for track limits excursions. That was silly from D'Amelio. You know the track, the offline part of the circuit is wet. Yes, it is difficult conditions, but come on. I feel really bad for Matt Williams again. Every time.
He's just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
See,
Andonovski goes through it. That's going to be a warning for cut tracks.
He lifted out of it quite a bit though. Might just be able to skirt his way by that one. Obviously, they're applied automatically by the game. There's nothing we could do. I think Vlad Tokarev is moving down the order. It might have been Paul Auguste Lana or Donat Prodan. Either way, there is carnage and chaos everywhere. I don't even know where to begin.
I'm just looking at the standings, seeing what's what. It's just we've only had one DNF, and it's Elias Fernandez, which is amazing considering how many suspension arms have been broken, how many track rods have been broken in the last 5 minutes.
Considering how many people have binned each other. Oh, Luca D'Amelio is coming into the pit lane to serve the penalty. I don't know why I was bigging up that one. Either way, D'Amelio's coming in.
Was a pit stop, and
literally, I was like, maybe he's going to come in. He's crashed on pit lane entry as well. So this is a real bravo moment from the GT Challenge crew. Oh my goodness me. Who is ready to move up to GT Pro? By the looks of this race, almost no one.
This is all Ed's fault.
Wipers have stopped as well. So it's looking like it's going to go back the way of the slick tyres. I think the only one on wet tyres really anywhere of any concern is the man ahead of Dan Kell, Mr. Andonovsky. Mohammed Patel, decides to skip there. He is in front of Ibrahim Khan. You can't help but laugh at it. I'm sorry. Louis-Philippe Capmajane gets himself into the top 10 and Mohammed Patel dropped down to 11th and all of that. So positions sort of being switched and back. Oh, and there goes Patel. Bye, mate.
Spinala.
Oh, it is very tricky out there. I'll give him that. It's really hard work.
We should be used to Ferraris doing that this season, but
it must be said.
It's tricky. He's on a wet track on dry tyres.
That chicane is going to be the hardest part of the circuit because you're off the ground, so you're already you're willing the car into sliding going through there anyway, so you've got to effectively back up a little bit. It is by far the hardest part of the circuit because at the moment, like in the dry, kind of easy. It's all like a flat full send. Whereas at the moment, who's that? Spun? Is that one? That's D'Amelio. Luca D'Amelio.
I think
more issues.
Is he going to call it? No, he's going to keep on going.
A little bit of frustrations from Luca D'Amelio.
He could have taken the lead in the championship if he'd not made those silly mistakes.
Yeah, it's not going well for him. For Jordi Zviers, though, in second place, moi. Things are going well for him in this championship as Louis-Philippe Capmajane is going to try and get by Ibrahim Khan into turn 1. He's well in that slipstream. A little bit of bad luck from him after being smashed off the road by Mohammed Patel a few laps ago, rather. And there we go. And there we go. It's predictable, isn't it?
Yeah, too much speed.
Well, you're on the thing is making a move on the inside of T1 is quite tricky because the thing is it's wet. You're moving off of the dry line. It's almost as if I'm watching a group of drivers that have never driven in the wet before in rFactor 2, which is entirely possible. As there's Patel going straight on Ibra. And away he
came
goes.
Across Ibra there, and that might have sort of helped with the serve up into the weeds, but still I think just misjudged how long his car is there.
1.4 seconds now as the race leader. Went down from 2 and a bit as Jordi Zviers is closing in on Matt Richards, who I don't think's had the most successful go. There goes the spin from Mohammed Patel, and there's the positions dropped for him. And Luca D'Amelio as well on that replay. I don't know, I was supposed to be shown on that. But there is Ian Velton. Oh, I hadn't even realised that Ian Velton is running in 5th place. That's a mad drive from the driver recently promoted Paul Auguste-Lana. Drive-through penalty. This is on board with Luca D'Amelio as we're going to see his spin a little bit further down the circuit. Just way too fast as the left-hander on the end of the back straight. And away he goes.
Track is getting noticeably drier on the racing line, so things might get a little bit easier for people in the next sort of 5 or 10 minutes.
Much cleaner, really good driving standards. The information coming from Ed. Oh, goodness. Andonovsky, still on those wet tyres, is moving back forward. He's still on those wets. For now. Mate, if he comes up to finish somewhere inside the top 5 after his, he's leaving it halfway down the inside of Matthew Williams. You see Ian Velton running way wide. Yeah, of all the people on this circuit right now, buddy, please don't spin Matthew Williams. He's had his fair share of bad luck in this championship so far. Every time they go into a braking zone, I'm terrified. You know? 1.5 seconds is the gap for the race lead at the moment as Matt Richards sort of holding a station. He was 1.4 seconds slower on the previous turn of the circuit, but I think there might have just been a little bit of a mistake in that and a good hold from Matt Richards. For those of you that don't know how to drive in the wet in rFactor 2, it's pretty simple. Slow down. Literally, slow down. That is it. And I'm not joking. It's just do what you're doing and just be calm about it. Easy inputs, easy brake a little bit early, just get on the throttle nice and gentle and just follow the same line. Oh, that's a nice cut from Andonovsky. You were quite far over there. And that's the other important thing. Don't cut too much because grass will spin you.
Grass is death when it's wet. Oh, there we go. There's a Ferrari going wide there. Was that Patel again?
I think it might well have been. Philippe Capmajane up to 11th.
It was Patel.
Wow. Hopefully, from that, we're in for a better midpoint of the race. Already halfway through. Matthew Williams defending from Andonovsky, trying to apply pressure to Ian Veltons. And the harder these fight, the more likely it is that the Northerner in behind, Dan Kell, will be closing up 8th position for him at the moment. Ibrahim Khan 9th, and Juan Carlos Fernandez rounding out the top 10, who's having a little bit of pressure applied to his shoulders as Louis-Philippe Capamajan is closing in. Side-by-side shot, looking backwards from Veltons. This battle for 5th place, looking ahead from Andonovski. The same battle. You can see very, very little from Andonovski. In a sense, if anything was to happen to Ian Veltons and you're Andonovski, you have to hope that it's not going to be in your path, because you can't really see him well.
Yeah, the wet track as well. It's going to be unpredictable when you do slam on the brakes to get the car at least try to stop it, which the failure to lock brakes thing. It's a little bit rule. It's a little bit confusing when you've got ABS systems on the car as Andonovski goes a bit too deep into the snake pit. It just basically means just slam on your brakes when the car's spinning. It just makes you a little bit more predictable.
Indeed. I think the sun somehow is coming out.
It's peeking out, isn't it?
It is just peeking.
He hasn't got his hat on yet.
No, you can see from onboard from up here. I don't know how much you can see it on the fronts. You can definitely see it on the Callaways when the windscreen wiper is going from left to right and back and forth. At the moment, though, we are not seeing any movement from that wiper, and so I think we are done for now when it comes to action of the windscreen wiping variety. Juan Carlos Fernandez holding on to 10th place from a fairly battered Louis-Philippe Capamajan, the battle of the three namers. The moderately exciting. Oh, he's really running a little bit wide there. We've seen a few cars spin that. Did say we were going to see one. Oh, don't accelerate, mate. Don't do it.
What would you do that for?
Oh my god.
Unsafe rejoin.
Oh my god. Why would you accelerate straight onto the front of Mikkel Smeedel? He's in 13th place, by the way. He's moving his way up the order. I think I had sheer panic then, the pitch I reached.
I think Smeedel's made his way up by virtue of staying on the track rather than anything else.
Goodness me. It never ceases to amaze me. The thing is where I would encourage series. I mean, love a good wet weather race, but my goodness me, it is good fun. But when you get a really competitive race, oh no, Matt Richards has spun. He spun big style, and it's at the corner that he was saying there was going to be threat of spins as well. That looks like it might well have been done all of his own volition. This is on board with Casper Stolz, so it's going to come through, try and make it a 1-2-3 for John Lacey's. We've already had one of those on the road. That was back in Virginia when we had it taken away courtesy of a penalty. Either way, it's a John Lacey Sports Academy 1-2. 10 seconds was cost to Matt Richards in all of that. Oh boy, I don't think we're done with spinners today though, Aidan.
No. It doesn't rain, it pours for Matt Richards today. And it has poured.
In terms
of weather.
He should be used to it though, being from South Wales.
From Wales, yeah.
Absolutely. Let's have a look. Talk us through it.
Don't make this a slow-mo.
Oh, go and press that down key. Just too quick in.
Yeah.
Too quick in. Offline. There goes the spin. Easily done. Very, very easily done. But
swearing in Welsh.
Swearing in Welsh. Is it fair to say a fairly careless mistake? Just overdoing, kind of didn't need to. We had a good gap to the car behind.
Yeah, he was 2 seconds ahead of Jordi at the start of that lap, who now is 3.1 seconds ahead of his teammate Alan Terzic. But Matt's got himself into third, so he's got past Casper again, and he's pulling away already.
Oh,
there we go.
And there we go.
There's Moritz Mel. So it's an 8.5 for Moritz. 7.
I was only going to give it a 7. 6 or 7. Oh, look at that! Using the 500 layout. Yeah, the pit escape road for the Indy 500. That's won him a few points in my book. We'll upgrade that one to an 8.
Might as well get a run up.
Vlad Tokarev in the Aston Martin up in 12th place. We'll think what's been going on this race, because I think he's already been spun himself. Now running in 12th for Unison Racing. Now got the championship leader closing in, who will be sat there thinking, oh wow, this race has really gone badly. I think he would have been better off not pitting. Yellow flag out in sector 1. Who's caused that one?
I think he just gambled on.
Philippe Camarjan.
I think he just gambled on rain arriving sooner rather than later.
Yeah, but do you not think he would be better off staying on the wet tyres? Because look at where Antonovsky's still quite a way down the road in comparison to him, and Antonovsky's had issues. And respectfully, Antonovsky's not as fast as Nico Smeedle. Do you not think Smeedle should have just stayed on the wet tyres and accepted his judgment?
Yeah.
That's what I would have expected him to do. And yes, of course, there's still 60 minutes left on the clock, and he'll probably close that gap down and probably get past Antonovsky, but still the point kind of stands that maybe there was more to gain from just staying on the track, especially in that heightened wet part of the race where maybe he could have done something. Let's take a look at this replay with Louis-Philippe Camarjan. Simple spin at T1. Pretty sure he just drops it. There he goes. Bye, mate. Oh, Giancarlo Velarde's been round again. Oh, was that Matt Williams as well? Can't have been.
No, Williams is still going.
Wasn't. Whew. I saw a slightly purple car, which obviously Giancarlo Velarde's is, and there's a little bit of purple on that Matt Williams car. There's also some bright green as well, which should have been quite a giveaway. You'd hope.
You would.
Williams still trying to get himself inside the top 5, though. He's sat on the back of the Scuderia Leone driver, trying to get what I believe, and I'm pretty confident with calling this without looking it up, the first top 5 of their season in Split 1. I don't think Nick Jacobs has done it yet. Might have to check his race 2 at Sebring, because I think he did quite well there. I certainly don't think it was a top 5. He says.
Oh, he's done that on the wet tyre as well.
Oh, I literally had to say it was a top 5. Nick Jacobs did get a top 5 back in Sebring. Oh, damn. Well, with 2.6 seconds now, the gap for the race lead coming down. What does Damon Terzic do? Does he battle his teammate? Of course, the important information coming into all of this is Dan Kell's trying to get 7th place off of Andonovsky. Inspired drive from the Northern Englishman. We'll just call him a Northerner for now. As the normal, not North Macedonian, just the regular Macedonian, apparently, defends from the Northerner. There's 2 tenths between the two of them. Anyway, to my point, Terzic, outgoing driver of Jean Lacey Esports Academy, heading over to BS competition. After this season is complete, has already dropped out of the Virtual Endurance Championship. So this is his final running in the Jean Lacey Esports Academy squad. Same as Mohamed Patel, who are both dropping the outfit to go and join BS competition as these two battle it out for position. Louis-Philippe Camarjan, after a not good drive, is going to go straight on at T1 again. Oh no, he does hold it back to the apex. Nice work. Good job, son. Battles it out with Moritz Mel. What do you do there to your Terzic? Do you still apply pressure, or do you kind of do your mate a favour and be like, look, your championship's quite important here, and yes, I might be the outgoing driver, but let's work together a little bit to try and make that championship a possibility?
That's a good question.
I want you to answer it right now.
Yeah. Racing. Why not?
No, I don't agree.
Oh. We'll talk about this when we get home.
Oh my god. I think the thing is because they're mates as well. It's not like it's for contract, it's not for blood. Here goes Dan Kell on the inside of Andonovsky. Oh, Andonovsky moving across a bit, still moving across a bit, really forcing him onto the wet. You can't keep moving whilst there's a car alongside you, Mr. Andonovsky. That was naughty. Now pinching Dan Kell. Kell going side by side, a little bit of contact between the two, and Kell gets up in the 7th position. That was naughty from Andonovsky. You can't keep moving whilst there's a car alongside. It's not touring cars, son. We heard that one from Jimmy Allison earlier. Yellow flag out in sector 3. There's another one. Tick.
Oh, dear.
I think Ed has a lot to answer for after this race.
We need to get him on the broadcast. Explain yourself.
We're already... he's asked to be on the broadcast a few times. We've been through this. We did this with the whole dance show bias thing back in...
that was a good day.
Virginia. Yeah. Of course, we have just passed 3/4 of the race complete, a quarter of the race to go, and I'm sure Jimmy Allison's time of dishing out penalties in the rFactor 2 GT Challenge Series is not over. Luca D'Amelio for Zancho Simsport on the inside of Donat Pradin for Volante Racing. Oh, I would say that's going to be an easy move, but in the wet weather, there's the snap of the brakes.
Made it.
corner that he's spun at a couple of times. Brave to attempt it there.
There we go. Boff.
They came together. I'll take back my criticism of Andonovski. They kind of just came together there. So I take back that criticism. Is that a thing I'm allowed to do?
You reluctantly take back your criticism.
I wouldn't say reluctantly. I'll just take it back. They came together. I'm sure they'll both have been screaming in their car about driving into me. Oh, you've driven into me in a straight line, which I've done before. I've shouted at someone for driving into a straight line. Looked back on the replay and thought, yeah, we came together. Whoops.
Always in the moment, isn't it?
They could have defended a bit better into T1 though, could Andonovski. So I'll go with that still. Let's see what happens between himself and Ibrahim Khan. These two have come together in the stretch. It was these two that came together at the final corner, wasn't it?
Yes. Because
there's been so many incidents.
Ibrahim Khan tried to launch it up the inside of into a gap that didn't exist.
Which that would be a penalty post race, surely, if that's reported. Of course, that's not in our wheelhouse to determine if that's a penalty. Needless to say, it was not
I think it would
ideal.
spice things up if we handed out the penalties.
What, just on broadcast? You did
Yeah.
penalty. What? How's it Sancho 1, 2, 3, 4? God, you knew that.
Oh dear.
Oh. That's the half is the only thing that I've got at the moment when it comes to this. Let's take a look at a replay of that one. Get the R key going. My goodness me, 2.7 seconds for the race lead. It's coming down, it's ebbing and flowing more than anything else. I don't think it's coming down enough, he says, as the gap almost completely disappears. Here comes Ibrahim Khan to the inside, breaks late, but not late enough to try anything on Timotej Antonovski. The top 10 at the moment as Juan Carlos Fernandez is trying to hang on to it with Mohamed Patel in behind. Jordi Sveers defending, sort of, in a sense, to the 2.8 second gap that he's got to Alan Terzic. Matt Richards still on the podium, has sort of held that gap fairly similar to our race leader. This is with David Serra. See what happened to him, who started the race from 9th place after a good run in race 1. You were well on the wet stuff there, buddy, and away into the gravel trap he goes.
It's a 10 from land.
Yeah, there's been some good drives. Like I said, I'd still say Richards could be somewhat happy with the drive because he's still matched the pace, even gone a little bit faster than Jordi Sveers, and still going to get himself a very credible podium. But it's sort of like it will always be sat on your mind of the what could have been.
Yeah, he spun out of the lead. Spun out of a semi-comfortable lead that he was holding.
Not going to get him a drive at JTR, is it? This is the replay. This is the replay. I hope it's that.
You hope it's a replay?
Is it a replay?
No, that is not a replay. That's live.
Oh.
The Giancarlo Valade gets it's a penalty.
Surely that was a replay. Goodness me. Ibrahim Khan did not like the fact that it didn't work on the previous lap and thought, I'll give it a go again.
Ibrahim Matt Neil Khan.
He does love a good dodgy dive, doesn't he? Oh, goodness me. We've got to find the fun side of it. And it's hard work.
On the outside, we're laughing. On the inside,
it's tears. It's just tears. This battle still, though, looking pretty good between Williams and Veltons as they try and... I won't say I'm not going to say it. Oh, Mohamed Patel. Drive-through penalty. They're battling away nicely, though. Let's go with that for 5th place. And hopefully we see that to the checker flag in 7 minutes and 50 seconds time. Replay. Talk us through it.
Okay.
Which one?
Which one? Yeah, it's eat, send, and clonk.
That's the actual overtake.
Yeah. Weirdly, that one was a bit cleaner than the previous attempt.
It's baffling to me. Still, look, someone's trying to clean up the wet stuff, which might actually help when it comes to cleanliness. As is that Oh no, Mohamed Patel just called it a day. Then he just pulled the plug. So we're dropping a couple of drivers now as Patel pulls his way out of the race, courtesy of that penalty, which he got himself. I think he's only got one more round then, if he does appear at Spa before he heads off to BS competition to join obviously Alan Terzic in that squad. And here is Timotej Andonovski with Juan Carlos Fernandez on the inside of him into T1. nearly went for the move, nearly went for the look. Mikael Smeedel in tow as well, trying to get himself inside the top 10. The idea that 2 top 10s might have been all right for Mikael Smeedel coming into the night sounds absolutely ridiculous. However, on the night, seems like, considering the misfortune in race 1, just of timing, and then the misstrategy of race 2, 2 top 10s might be a decent recovery in a sense. Oh, you're not going to dive it in there, are you? No, he doesn't. Good man. He's learnt from his misdoings, which I like. I really respect, because if you look at him in the last couple of rounds, if you look at Mikael Smeedel in the last couple of rounds, he was very well measured, at least in his march up the order from what I saw at the Nürburgring, and was also quite well measured until obviously the incident between himself and Alan Terzic, which was on Alan's shoulders. Oh, Antonovsky, that's a squeeze. There's one down the inside of Juan Carlos Fernandez. Mikael Smeedl's going to... Oh, I was literally just bigging you up, mate. Don't do that. Oh, I should have been giving him the praise I was then, shouldn't I? A half is all that's needed, Aidan.
I might need to buy some shares in Eurofil after this.
Well, it's always surprising. Right, here we go. Juan Carlos Fernandez to the inside. Mikael Smeedel going to try and make it 3 wide into the wet. No, he does back out of it. Juan Carlos Fernandez going to go down the inside. He's going to run straight on at T1. No, Timotej Andonovski is going to swoop back up the inside. Carlos Fernandez is on the grass and on the way miles out of the circuit, I believe. Where is he? There he is. There goes Mikael Smeedel up into 10th place. That was as predictable as it possibly could have been. And Vlad Tokarev also a part of this battle.
I'm legally required to say other painkillers are available at this point.
Yeah, you should have just gone for flat ibuprofen or paracetamol. So make it easier on yourself. Don't require yourself to apply such wording.
I am looking for sponsorship. Well, anyway,
I would sponsor you, but it would be with Zamsho money that I don't get.
Right.
It's amazing we're biased considering we don't get paid for it.
we're gonna just like keep a tally of how much
plugging
we've done. Oh, hang on.
Sorry, we're not.
Anyway, Kellen Khan. Nick Jacobs fastest lap.
Yeah, I was about to say, good one from Nick Jacobs. He is 2 laps down, mind, so he's probably gone in for some fresh rubber. But regardless, a fastest lap.
He's doing a Verstappen. Indeed,
there we go with Mikael Smeedel to the inside. On that start-finish straight, trying to get by Andrea Terzi, picks up a penalty, but it's a little bit further down the order. There goes an easy move from Smeedel. Oh, we're going to see the attempted 3 wide. No, we are not. Juan Carlos Fernandez decides to brake actually earlier for T1. Antonovsky and Mikael Smeedel make a little bit of contact on that run through T1, but Smeedel now up into 9th place. 8 seconds up the road is Ibrahim Khan. Kel as well a little bit further. Antonovsky's looking very much backwards in all of this. Obviously still on those wet tyres he started the race on, feeling a little bit warm with 3 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock, looking like a pretty decent and solid margin at the top end of the field for Jordi Sveers, looking for his 2nd race victory of the season. Nearly was, there you go, he's giving a big up to Nick Jacobs for the fast lap of the race, picks up a penalty for track excursion, so read into that what you will. Oh, that's nice.
Oh, nice.
I used this shot to really show how far over the curve Michi Hoyer went in a very different series at one point, because he took to the moon over that 2nd curve. It's a bit harder to do in a GT to actually take off and get some good air. Oh, Antonovsky. Antonovsky. Yeah. Oh, there's a penalty for him as well for his efforts. What are you doing, son?
That's a man that stopped caring.
What was that? Oh, and he's just going to drive. Yeah, let's just get that off screen.
Yeah.
Vlad Tokarev trying to get himself a top
nothing.
10. That'd be a great drive from Vlad Tokarev if he can get himself a top 10 and almost drive
in an Aston Martin as well.
Yeah, exactly. Considering that Aston is.
There we go. Oh no, maybe not.
Every time. Is that going to be it? This is going to be a drive through.
Please no.
No, it's not popped up. We're all right. Oh my goodness me. I feel bad for Jordi because he asked me last round. He was like, well, the racing up front was good. Was it good behind? And I just went, no. And I get the feeling it's going to be the same today, unfortunately. I don't know what, we need I'm going to say it now. We need the...
Okay.
Oh, goodness. Was that Andonovsky coming in across, or was that...
I don't know. We'd have to see it from
Juan Carlos Fernandez looking...
From Fernandez's car.
Who knows? But yeah, we need the penalties back from last season. The ones that affect... And yes, they do kind of ruin the feature race. And yes, that does ruin the show a little bit. But in the sense that it does stop people messing around. Because you're penalising them actually something that they feel. Because you come through... Like you effectively waste a night because you know that you're going to have to serve that penalty. If you don't show up, it'll be applied to the next race regardless. And it's a penalty that you actually feel.
Oh, he came across him.
Yeah. Maybe he didn't quite realise that. Yeah, either way, let's just throw that one out the window because Andonovsky's not had a good day. Fastest lap of the race from Mikkel Smeedel. And well, that's no real surprise. 1 minute left on the clock, which means that Jordi Zwiers will be coming round to start his final lap of the race. The Ferrari man. 5 seconds clear of his teammate Alan Terzic, on board with Andrea Terzi, who's already served himself a couple of penalties, or at least won this race, and he's on back of Turka Hakkinen, the lone Nita Velix driver here. Herman Stocky not taking part in the rest of the championship. Rory McDuff missing this round courtesy of exam season. We'll go with that. And then to the inside, Andrea Terzi going to grab the 20th place in that Porsche. Oh, we don't normally see this Porsche.
Bye.
See ya. We don't normally see this Porsche, and now we don't. Yeah, absolutely. He's closed that gap down a little bit, so he's left a little bit of pace in the tank. But I think this is more the circuits drying up and getting a little bit quicker. On old slicks, though, that's nice work.
He's actually pulled right away from Stoltzer, but then again, Stoltz is on wets.
Indeed. Well,
I think.
for Richards, it's not been a perfect drive. There's been a single mistake. Unfortunately for him, it was quite a large one. Should be able to hang on to third place, but our focus will have to go to that top 3 of Jordi Zwiers, Alan Terzic, who had a couple of penalties this season. It's really dropped him out of contention in the championship, but still maybe there is potential, maybe there is hope on board with Matt Richards on that final lap of the race. There's Kasper Stoltzer behind him. Arjan Veltens inside the top 5. But Jordi Zwiers is going to be coming through that final section of the racetrack. And what a drive it has been. He has grabbed himself a few podiums this season, including now 4 feature races this season. 4 of the 5. 1 was a victory. He was second last time out. It's going to be victory again for Mr. Archie. Across the line, Jordi Zwiers, victorious for Jean Lacey Esports. And how sweet will it be? His outgoing teammate going to join him on the podium as well. It's a 1-2 for Jean Lacey Esports Academy. Matt Richards, I'm sure there'll be disappointment in the camp, but there still needs to be a little bit of a pride for good drive to third. Kasper Stoltzer in 4th place with Arjan Veltens in 5th. Good drive from them. Nice drive from Arjan Veltens. That means it's their second top 5 of the season for Scuderia Leone. So broadcast director Ruben Carrera Alvarez will be at least somewhat happy with that. The unluckiest man on the grid, Matthew Williams, comes across in a deserved 6th place. I think maybe he deserved a little bit more, but 6th place regardless. Has done very well with that. Dan Kell, what a drive from him. Brilliant result. Came into this thinking, like I said, I'm so slow, I don't think I'll be able to grab it.
He got enough practice at the weekend when it was chucking it down in the Lake District.
Well, he didn't. It got cancelled towards the end. He did a few races. The meeting was cancelled, but yeah, Lake District karting in the torrential rain. Still finishes 7th place. Ibrahim Khan, that won't stand, that 8th place. Mikkel Smeedel, after coming through the pit lane, 9th for him. And Juan Carlos Fernandez rounding out the top 10. No Aston Martin inside the top 10 until we get our penalties. But let's take a look then at the finishers. Jordi Zwiers then a well-deserved victory ahead of Alan Terzic and Matt Richards, our podium. Kasper Stoltzer and Arjan Veltens rounding out the top 5 with Matthew Williams, Dan Kell, Ibrahim Khan, Mikkel Smeedel and Juan Carlos Fernandez rounding out that top 10. Behind that, we've got Vlad Tokarev for Unison Racing, a nice drive to 11th place with David Serra and Luke D'Amelio, who I think he's done. He's just spun a few times with D'Amelio, and Donat Prodan and Louis-Philippe Capamajan, the 2 Go Team Racing drivers of Moritz Mel and Georgi Nadev, down in 16th and 17th place with Giancarlo Velarde in 18th. Turka Hakkinen was 21st the last time we saw him. He's now 19th somehow. Not quite sure. Andrea Terzi rounds out the top 20 in that Porsche. Behind that, we've got ourselves 21st place of Nick Jacobs and then Paul August Lana down in 22nd place. And then the retirements from the race, Timotej Andonovski, who stopped caring. Same with Mohamed Patel after that drive to penalty. Chris Shepherd's return to split one really does not continue very well. 2 retirements from him. And Ilias Fernandez in 26th place. Aidan, final thoughts, please.
Yeah. I wonder what Spa's going to be like. That's going to be brilliant.
We hope so.
Spa.
It is a couple of weeks away before we head to that brand new circuit. But of course, GT Pro heads there in just a week's time. It must be said, this GT Challenge field, we really need to tidy ourselves up and have a good finale heading into 2021 as well. Thank you anyway for joining us here live on the race rFactor 2 GT Challenge Series powered by VCO Esports. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time when we return for the grand finale to see who's going to be our series champion. Until then, thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.